Welcome to another episode of Today and Tomorrow. Picture this. You spend 3, maybe 4 years of your life and a lot of money to earn a degree. And then a piece of software sitting on a laptop writes the essay, passes the exam, drafts the report, writes the code in seconds for almost nothing. And here's the question more and more people are asking, often very quietly. In the age of artificial intelligence, is a university degree still worth it? Or are we training a whole generation for a world that's already on its way out? And this is not a calm debate. You've got tech founders telling teenagers to skip university altogether. You've got headlines about graduates who can't find work and machines that can. And on the other side, you've got people saying we have never needed deep human and well-rounded education more than we do it right now. So, which is it? Is the degree finished? Or is it suddenly the most valuable thing we've got? And this is the topic of today and tomorrow. But as always, I'm not doing this alone. Dieter, good to have you here again. How are you?
Oh, always good when I'm having a nice guest to talk with and to talk about, as Vincenzo. Vincenzo, I think we met in 2016 for the first time in a quite different world then, and it actually was in Moscow. And from that, we developed a kind of working relationship that eventually got stuck in the international relations situation. So very happy to have you back. And actually, the project we wanted to launch together, we just started last year, the university course on deep tech diplomacy. And we made first steps to bring you back into that too. So I'm really happy to have you here. But that's not our topic of today. And and it's really a burning issue. Just you always keep hearing that university degrees are not worth anything anymore very soon. Um, yeah, I doubt that it will be, but we will talk about that later. Because Vincenzo, you're now with a university that actually is training people, educators. So you are right now really at the core discussion yourself. So I'm sure you have a very pronounced opinion on that.
And Dieter already teased a little bit what you're doing, but first of all, very nice to have you here today. Second of all, would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, I'm Vincent Ligorio. I'm currently the director of strategic development and academic innovation at Hibernia College Group, an education group working basically in Ireland, but with a lot of international potential. And of course, my goal is to lead the innovation, let me say, race. We are quite already innovative. And the topic of today is a daily topic for us because we are trying to not only to serve but also to lead this this trend that I would define rather than trend a revolution.
I wanted to talk a little bit about this revolution part. In my moderation, I said the degree is dead. Would you agree on that? Or how seriously do you take this claim?
Well, is a real revolution, but we have not to consider only the surge of artificial intelligence. There are also other trends that we have to follow. For example, the education is changing from a long-term, let me say, journey that with the undergraduates, postgraduates courses that we are having, let me say, lecture for a long period of time with short content, more instant content. Let me put in a way that education is transforming from a long-term cure with an homeopathic cure with short-term pills that are going to be given to the students, because this is also the demand. So there is also a revolution in terms of generation. Our generation was used to learn in a way. The current generation, I would define the generation of TikTok education, because they are not used to have a content that is longer than a period of time. So they tend to be tired and to lose the attention in a shorter period of time. So I think that this deep tech revolution is a twofold. From one side, we have the new tools, the AI, as let me say, a holistic model, yeah. And then we have the way how we deliver education that is following this deep tech revolution again, or even transformation, if you want to use another word.
You said we need to change from long-term education to shorter for the TikTok generation. And I would agree with you as a lecturer at universities as well. It's changing a little bit, semester for semester, a little bit more. But if you look at the current state of universities in Europe and in the world, most of the lectures are always the same. You have at least 45 minutes up to yesterday I had a lecture that went for 5 hours. It was not nice for anyone, not even me. But how can we change if the system is so traditional? Let's say it like this.
Well, first of all, it's changing countries by country. Yeah, so regulation compliance is different. For example, even if in Europe we are under the Bologna system umbrella, still there are national differences. So there is not a real integration in this sense. So we will have, let me say, a new generation of Europeans, postgraduate students that will have a different approach, even in working. So we have countries. Look at Estonia, that is bringing already AI as a model in post-primary and primary, and of course at university. And other countries, for example, in Southern Europe, as Italy, we have just 1-2 examples of AI schools, and Spain, Portugal, they are still, let me say, back in this sense. Also because we have a predominance of state-led universities. So the private sector has more flexibility in that. First of all, because it should attract more students, because the fees are different, and so on. Think about Germany. The education is free, and so you don't need to attract, let me say, locals, but you have to retain them. You have to keep them in the progression. So you have to increase the progression rate. You do that, changing the approach. So we are still far behind to a global, let me say, integration. We are far behind to a European integration in this sense. So the challenge is huge. But to answer even better to your question, we have to change it. I'm a professor myself. I teach myself. I teach like a various of let me say, range of topics, and even, for example, in a topic as geopolitics, politics, or international relations, I try to bring that flavor of integration during my classes. So I try to, especially for the asynchronous part. So I try to lead to an engagement with the students that is even with their smartphone during the class and during the lecture. I try to engage them, and I see that I change myself as a teacher. I change myself as a lecturer. So we have to change first as a lecturer, as institutions, and then we have to change, and even we can judge how students are learning now.
But I think you also the content of what you teach has to change, because you don't need to bring out memorize facts and or how to get to results, because that's what what the AI is doing. I think it will become more important to develop analytical skills and to evaluate outcomes and results. And I think this is another big step that we will see in the near future, because everything is disrupted, and we have to deal with it. And I think how to analyze and to use these results, I think this will be the big educational challenge of the future.
I would say, Dieter, that we have also another revolution. That is the neuroscientific revolution, because now we are more conscious how our brain function. We discussed in the past with you, no, even in your book with my contribution. So we are conscious how our brain works now. We are more conscious how to teach and how the brain gather information and how to retain information. So just to bring you an example, I'm trying to move from a lot of readings. I transform my comments, my reading in podcast, short podcast, for the post lecture, let me say, for the post face-to-face or for the post synchronous lecture. And I even use more images, more interactive images, visuals that lead to the students to be more engaged. So to not just to have a passive reading on that, but to be more engaged and not passive. So even in the podcast, they have to provide. I try to use this approach that they have to stop and give a response, record the response. So this is like a form of engagement that is leading. And in this sense, AI is helping us, because it's a tool that is useful for us and is helping us to generate content or to generate response to the new needs. We are focusing, and maybe we will go deeper in this, just to the risk that AI is facing. So cheating and let me say compliance and so on. So, but this is not just the right way how to look at just on the risk. We have to see on the opportunity that we are given.
You already said the way of teaching is changing, and I really like your multimodal approach that people who are better at learning by listening via podcasts can interact a little bit more. That's a wonderful approach. But you just said a magic word that leads me to my next question. You talked about cheating, and especially when we look at exams, for example. AI and many news articles tell us that can pass the exams we set very easily, but we can't stop doing those. So how does testing, how does the final exam, the writing of papers, in your opinion, need to change? Away from what Dieter said, we learn everything by heart now, and then we write it down, then we forget it forever, then we learn it again. How does, in an age of technology and AI, the exams change?
Well, still we have, let me say, a bit of leftover of old-fashioned, written exams, and we have to change that, because this is a very easy to be, let me say, to be demolished by AI. No, so in the formal way. So we have to think of new models of submission, new models of assessment. We are trying to do that even at Hibernia. But for example, there are other risks. So I will show you a tool that is posing risks now. So these are AI classes. So even if we have, let me say, students in a classroom, and we take the phone we take the phones from them, still they can use with cameras, you see, microphones, so they can integrate. Just yesterday, we were discussing with my colleagues to find a way how to jam the classroom. So I mean, even AI would help us how to jump the classroom to avoid the usage of AI glasses and all this. So we have to become creative ourselves, no, in this sense, because you cannot say to a student, okay, take off even your glasses. They can say, I have a prescription, I don't see without glasses. But these glasses has, let me say, a superpower that can send, let me say, and can call somebody outside, and so it's becoming like, a very creative way how to. It's like cat and mouse, like it's like, you remember this old cartoon. Tom and Jerry, the cat is trying to catch the mouse, but never catch, and the mouse is always winning. So I think that now organization against institution against teacher is becoming this cartoon, and I think that we have to change the trend, in that.
I really like the picture of Tom and Jerry and AI in education. Okay, let's say you can stop this. You can have new ways of exams, and you are going to use the technology to improve the teaching all over. There's another fraction we need to talk about. Some people say they don't need a an academic education anymore because, well, why should I? AI can do this even faster. So what can, in your opinion, a university provide what an AI can't?
Well,
It's
I've
an
written.
evil question, I
I've
know,
written.
but
No. I've written few weeks ago a paper around this. So the university should move from just STEM hard skills that AI can provide us. I mean, can teach us very easily, to more reasoning and soft skills. So we have to focus more on that, because AI cannot teach you soft skills. Yes, so we are thinking that, okay, I can teach like foreign language with this Duolingo, all this stuff and so on. But still, the human, let me say, touch in that is needed. So you can talk with a robot, with an AI data center, and get the same feeling that you're getting with the human. Even if now AI is able to have a reasoning model that is very, very quick, fast, and reactive. So we have to move just from hard skills. We can still teach that is needed, but we have to use, let me say, different models to reasoning and soft skills teaching that are, let me say, essentials and complementary to the future.
And how to use AI the proper way, in an analytic way. I think that's very important, because if you just adapt to and take the results and just use them without thinking about it, and so it can be very misleading and also manipulative. So I think this is also one thing that should be part of the new education in universities, and before, of course.
I use AI myself, because I can't teach these things if I don't know myself. And one of the interesting parts is that now a lot of students are using AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever, Gemini, as we used Google in the past. Okay, just as an engine to provide result. I use AI in a way that I have a real conversation with AI. So, for example, the way how we write prompts is a way how we have to teach our students how to interact with AI. There is a huge piece of reasoning and thinking that is still needed, and only the human brain can lead. I was having, Dieter, my wife is also into education, and we are running a project, an AI pilot project together, how to help lecturer through the AI, to reduce their workload and to free their time to have other activities with the students. And she was telling me, like, okay, I'm more in the tech part. I'm helping her more in the tech part rather than the academic part. And she was telling me, like, look, but you are having a conversation with the AI. So just to provide, we are providing her lecturer lecture plans that, and let me say, Gen AI is changing through the context and the class situation. No? And I was telling, look, but you have to talk to AI as you're talking to a person. It's like you're talking to an engineer. It's like, okay, I need this, and this. So you have to be very detailed. If you just say, like, okay, provide me with a lecture plan, like X, Y, Z, it will give you, like, let me say, a mixture that makes no sense. So you have to have really a true conversation and so on. So that is the response Dieter. So that you have to. So you have to think. You have to stop, come back, and still another example that I do is that before 2 prompts, I still use my fantastic xylographic pen, paper, and I write to myself what I want. What is the result that I want to achieve? I even draw a scheme of the start, the process, and the finish. So still you need, even if we have AI, the AI is a tool. So, I mean, the AI is a tool. So, I mean, when we had before, no, yes, the revolution was the printing machine, no. So one of the hugest revolution that we had in our the humankind. But still, we had people that had to put the content into the book. So we have to use this approach with AI. Still, we need people that is feeding the AI, because in the end of the day, the AI is a closed loop. So it cannot generate without new information. It cannot generate without the human thinking and the human production.
But you said it for lecturers, but it also counts for the students. We need to learn how to use the technology, how to use AI. And you wonderfully described how a good prompt and a good iterative conversation with AI can change everything. But I have a question for this. Are we moving forward to a two-tier society divided between those who can use AI, as you described, effectively, and those who are displaced by it? Or how will the future of our society, of our education, of everything out there look like if we don't adapt?
Well, it's like all the innovation, even with the internet. So internet separated societies, separated countries, separated people. So do you remember in the past, not all of us could have a connection, yeah. So to internet, because it cost a lot, and it needed, let me say, you need to be in the city where you could have the connection. The same with the fast connection, no? So not all the city. We started with the capital city, then the remote areas, they didn't have connection. The same would be with the AI. We will have a piece of global population that would be left behind, but not because they want to be left behind, not because they push back to this revolution. It's just because it's the system pushing them back, and we will have, like, the risk is that this would provoke more conflict. So to come back on my lovely geopolitics, because this is the real thing. So that's why we have not to serve AI, but we have to govern and to regulate in somehow.
Well, but that's exactly I think the critical part is the transition period. Because you have different speeds of adoption, you have different models. Some you will find out that do not work, others will work, and it's a try and error phase. So this is a phase where people will feel left out, and where people move faster than others, and this is what the problems will create, and we have to be very cautious about that. So I think the real problem is how to handle this transition period, and yeah, that's what I try to find out myself. All my work is centered about creating this type of resilience. So, Vincent, what is your answer to that? How can we create this type of resilience to handle the transition period?
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer, because still we don't know to what extent AI will lead to resilience. First of all, because AI is leading to other problems, that is environmental problems with all the data centers. The second is the real cost of AI. So we are spending hundreds of billions of dollars or euros, depends where you are located, to produce this. And the resilience also is that not everybody can afford AI. So let me say, if you want a model, you have to pay. So this is, let me say, we are not on the same level. So it's very difficult to find resilience in AI, because the resilience is a human factor rather than a tech factor. So we have to take control of AI in order to, let me say, find the resilience in this transformation. We could find resilience in COVID because it was, let me say, a human navigated factor. But it's very difficult to find resilience in transformation like this. So we have to reinvent the human being first,
Yep.
and then try to find a way.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on reinvent the human being?
Well, we have to think how we will live next. So what would be the role? So what will be the role in the society?
Mm.
Just to respond to this. So even like I saw yesterday a video of a student that was pretending to be Will Smith with a deep tech. So we are using AI, even to not to be ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to reinvent our role philosophically. I mean, what I would say that we will have, let me say, an increase in 10 years of students enrolling in philosophical or faculty of philosophy.
I would agree on this.
Or ethics, because rather than IT and so, because we will have like some of the schools or the faculty that will completely collapse because of AI. But if we want really to lead rather than to serve this transformation, we have to get it from the philosophical perspective, the philosophical angle of what the role of human being will be.
I totally agree with you because, especially when you look at the current state of education, but also in the work in the office spaces, everyone uses AI. Everyone seems brilliant, and we're losing ourselves, our own style, our own thinking. So I not only think we will have a lot of students who will attend the philosophical lectures. I also think we will have a lot of students who will have lost the capability of being themselves and not being a strange mixture of Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT, and a little bit of ourselves, only provided by prompting. So there will be a lot of new challenges for us as educators, but also for nearly everyone else. And this, oh, please.
Big an example that happened last Saturday to me. I have a toddler. Yeah, my son is bit older than 2 years, and we are as educator with my wife categorically no screen time for him, no cartoons, no phones, no tablet, nothing. So he's just using his imagination. And on Saturday, he, let me say, killed literally with one question that was, Dad, what is love? Can you imagine? Can the AI answer to that question? So I think that the resilience will be, Dieter, even to come back to your question, when we will come back and have dozens of children, kids that are, let me say, deep tech AI free, and try to give an answer to ourselves of who we are and where we want to be. So really, we will have to, let me say, push the reset button and come back of 40 years, 50, 20, depends of our age, and come back on that age that I said, like, there are no filters, yeah, and there is a free thinking, because you cannot push, you cannot navigate the reasoning and the thinking of a toddler, of a newborn, no, because it's, let me say, a fresh mind, not with no setups and so on. So the real challenge will be that to have the resilience will be that. So the ability to come back on a non systematized thinking and with no setup.
Well, and I think is also necessary what you just described for creating some a basic knowledge or a basic education, because that's what all our value system, our ethical system is based on. Because if you only grab infos here and there and then create, then it will be very difficult to create a level value system, and that you need to make societies work. So this is, I think, is a big problem, and also not a big necessity to keep this basic education level up. But of course, this is something that should be started definitely in a preschool and build up and slowly build up. But I think this is one of the big challenges we are faced with.
We talked a lot about challenges. We talked a lot about how you handle education yourself at the moment. But this podcast isn't called Today and Tomorrow for nothing. So I would like to have your view into the future. If we take everything in account, the reinvention of the humans, the finding of their own voice, the philosophical ways, the way how learning, exams, and the preparation of lectures will change. What do you think could or should education look like in the year 2036 or even farther away?
Well, education is becoming, let me say, a stackable process. So, like, imagine a wall with always a new brick to be added. This is the first thing that I would like to leave for today. And the second is the way of learning. So and the way of teaching is would be different. We will not have 100% physical university. Even Hibernia is a blended university. So we have the online component and the face-to-face, so the physical component, because we understand that the way of living is changing, and also the amount of students that we want to reach will be different. Another thing is the demography is declining, and we have to try to be more competitive and attracting more students in a different way. And this is, let me say, we have to be creative. So I'm sure that very soon, and this was an experiment that I did already a few years ago in one of the universities that I was leading, is that we try to use the metaverse as a form of our students, let me say, together, or even to have an experience, a life experience, like an industry visit and so on. So we use the metaverse. So I think that we will have more of this situation, and this is, let me say, the good part of AI, because we'll reduce the barriers, we reduce the frontiers in that perspective. So students from China will not need to travel to Europe to meet the peers, or even as we are doing now. So think about 10 years, 15 years ago, we couldn't have this podcast if I didn't take a flight, come to Germany, and rent an hotel. And take maybe some days off, and so on. So, but now we are having this conversation here, and maybe in 10 years we will have this conversation in the metaverse. Will be us, but will not be us talking to this.
And those were wonderful final words for this episode. Thank you very much for your insights. Dieter, do you have any more questions or anything to add?
Well, the times will stay challenging, but with educators like Vincenzo, there is a way out. So thank you, Vincenzo, for your time, and I know we keep the conversation going, and I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, I hope to have you in our course series in the future involved, and look to many more, also including you, Alex, on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And with this, dear listeners and viewers, you had a clear-eyed look at a debate that usually creates a lot more heat than light. And if there's one thing I'm taking away, it's this. The education and the degree we start with this isn't dying. Its job is changing. For a long time, universities were where you went to get the answer. But when the answers are suddenly everywhere, sitting in everyone's pocket, the value moves somewhere else, to knowing which questions to ask, as we heard, how to think clearly, and how to tell the difference between something that's true and something that just sounds true. That's not less important in the age of AI. It might even be more important than ever before. And with this was Today and Tomorrow. I hope you learned something for your future again. If you liked this episode, please follow us and subscribe. And as always, the last words go to our wonderful guest and to Dieter.
Well, I think everything is said.
And the last words go to our wonderful guest.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. And I think that we answer a lot of questions for today. We see a foggy tomorrow, so we will have to come back sooner or later and see how the day-to-day world is changing in this deep tech, and how will change our life. But I think that education still will stay as a fundamental pillar for the human being to be as we want and as we manage thousands of years ago.
And as you said, we will come back to this topic a little bit later on when we see a little bit clearer. With this, I can say thank you for your time, thank you for everything, and to all viewers and listeners, see you next time, and ciao.